Hello, 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 beautiful soul. My name is Sarah Tomlinson, the girl with many secrets, here to inspire and empower you on your healing journey. And today I have a very cool topic which I've used over the last few months, and it has helped me immensely, which is learning how to self-test your mind, your subconscious, and your body for clear yes or no answers. You can get clear yes or no answers about what your limiting beliefs are, what your fears are, what you might need to heal. I will show you this technique. All you need is your hand and a whole bunch of questions that you want to ask yourself. Your subconscious mind knows everything. It knows everything and keeps track of your whole life. Your whole life is in this like soup of your mind. Up until this technique, I kind of just had to guess where I needed to go next in my healing journey. I will give a warning that this technique shouldn't supersede any kind of medical advice given by professionals. This is just learning how to talk to your body and talk to your subconscious mind. There is a huge, vast array of knowledge that you have inside of you, and it's a way to pull it out in yes or no answers. There are confinements with this technique. You have to understand that although your subconscious mind is a huge soup of knowledge, it is still constrained by fears, by limiting beliefs, by stuff that's happened in your past. The answers you get back are sorted out through all of these funnels of constrictions. And that's part of the interesting part. You can figure out your own constrictions. This helps because you can shine the light of awareness on some of the trouble spots in your life, shine the light on where to heal next. Why is it beneficial to heal these root issues? Well, we live in an energetic universe that is reacting to not our thoughts and our conscious mind, but to the energy of the body. Time and time again, I've used this technique and I thought consciously I was on board with something, and I tested myself, and my subconscious and the energy of my body was believing something else. The technique just uses your hand, and you can get a definite yes or a definite no. So when your system feels stress and feels something negative, your muscles contract. Okay, so that's the basis of this testing technique. When your system is relaxed and has like a yes answer, your muscles are relaxed. I just use my hand and I lightly just move my fingers. I'm just making sure I feel some touch between my thumb and this finger here. And you can start by just saying yes, 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 yes. And yes is an affirmative word. It's a positive word. It's associated with positivity. So my muscles in my body are completely relaxed. So my fingers have not experienced any resistance while they keep moving, and nothing has changed. So I actually know by now that anything that's a yes answer, my fingers are still going to rub lightly like this. There aren't going to be any problems. As soon as I say no, 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 my whole body is actually starting to contract, and it became harder and harder. Actually, like my hand clenched down. That was an involuntary response. I was not doing that voluntarily or consciously. My response is very strong right now because I've been doing this for a few months, so yours might be a little bit weaker, but it will get stronger. Some people haven't experienced more of like a clench. They experience more of like a different kind of rubbing. So just tell whether you can see a yes, being completely relaxed, and a no, something else happening. Another way to test for something is your name. Your name is like, somebody's name is like the most beautiful thing that you can ever say to them, right? So it's going to be affirmative in my body. Sarah, 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 Sarah. My name is Sarah. So that's a yes for me. And whereas if I tell myself a lie, my name is Amy, my name is Amy, my name is Amy, it's clenching up again. So no. So you can ask yourself yes or no questions and get answers from your body and from your subconscious mind. For example, I have an O. Henry bar. I love O. Henry, particularly the peanut butter O. Henry, but of course I'm not going to eat them a lot. And you can imagine that this food, my body probably wouldn't be too happy with. So I'm just going to put the O. Henry in my lap. Now, when I talk about like eating or food or something, I like to bring my awareness and put my hand on my stomach. So if you're like, it wouldn't make sense to focus my awareness on my shoulder. My shoulder doesn't digest food when I'm talking to my body. So just for example, I'm going to focus my awareness on my intestines and stomach. Eat an O. Henry today. It's a no. Why did I buy the O. Henry? Because I'm going on a camping trip and it's nice to have the extra calories and I'm going to be dancing. So bring the O. Henry for extra calories on my camping trip. That's a yes, right? So we're allowed treats, right? Once in a while. So I love, a bite of an O. Henry in the middle of the night when I'm dancing. So that was a yes. So you can do that with food. Here's an apple. I might put my hand on my stomach and my intestines again. Eat an apple. That's a yes. Eat an apple every day. That's a no. Don't eat an apple every day because I like variety. There you go. Yeah, I like variety. It's true. I would get sick of apples if I ate them every day. So I've used that just for like simple things. What my stomach likes to digest or eat. So I've eliminated a lot of foods that used to cause my IBS flare-ups that way. But on a deeper level, you can use this to help your healing journey. So I will talk about ancestral pain. I will talk about ancestral trauma a lot on my channel. I'll also talk about past lives. If you're wanting to know more about past life and ancestral trauma, I highly recommend you look up my very first video on this channel, which is people pleasing. The ancestral root of people pleasing in women. I do talk, especially the first half of that video, about the original cause of people pleasing in women, why it happens more being ancestral and past life trauma. So I've dropped a link in the description for that video if you want to check that out after this one. Some of what we might have to heal in this lifetime might be obvious to us, but some of the stuff that I've had to heal, there was no explanation necessarily for it in this lifetime. And I became very frustrated. And so it started to make sense to me that in my energy field, I've carried over past life and ancestral trauma. If past lives don't speak to you, I highly encourage you to watch this video through anyways, because I will be talking about using this self-testing technique for trauma in this lifetime as well. I would highly recommend keeping a journal or even an Excel document to keep track of it. It can become a little bit overwhelming keeping track of all the yes or no answers, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have all of this stuff to heal that I didn't know I had to heal, because you're bringing it up to the surface, right? You're bringing whatever's in your body, whatever's in your chakras, whatever's in your energy system, your nervous system, your subconscious mind up to conscious awareness, and it can be pretty overwhelming. That's my first tip for this self-testing. If you feel like you want to take it slow, if you feel like you want to document it, and try not to get overwhelmed by what's down there if this is your first time talking to your body and your subconscious mind. Try not to judge it. That's my other important tip. There's a lot of stuff happening underneath the surface of our conscious mind. And it won't help to get frustrated. Remember, this is a very soft, tender part of you that if you're talking about healing questions or limiting beliefs or fears, this is a very tender part of you that is still hurting under the surface. And it's not going to help to get frustrated at them. It might even help to personify them inside of you as, this wounded person who actually would not benefit from frustration, anger, or judgment. This is a past self. A past self from this lifetime, maybe even your child self, or a past self from your past lives that you have no conscious memory of, this energy or this part of you is really hurting. So how would you approach a hurting person who's still really in pain, who's still carrying this energy of pain inside of your body, right? Whenever you get a yes or no answer, just go, curiosity, like, oh, I see, I didn't know that. I don't get angry, I don't get frustrated because it's still a hurt part of me. I try to approach it with love, because love and acceptance will just start the healing journey to begin with. Ask if you're afraid of things, you can ask the root of a fear. So you can actually heal a fear inside of your energy system and make it less triggering. That doesn't mean that you won't be less cautious around dangerous things. It means you can actually soothe out a trigger. So if you want to learn more about how to soothe out triggers, soothe out fears and beliefs, I highly recommend checking out my video, Healing with ETF, or the Emotional Freedom Technique. I will also do more ETF videos on my channel, but I've dropped a description for that video in the link as well, so you can take a look at that. I also want to remind you, if you're enjoying this video, to hit the thumbs up if you're finding this content valuable. Now I want to talk about how we could heal some deeper wounds that we have. Now, I did make a video called Make a Life Map, Find Your Root Pain. I've left that in the description for this video as well. About 2/3 of the way through that video, I left a list of very common root pains. You might want to revisit that video or watch it if you haven't watched it already. And I give a list of questions that you can ask yourself, a list of root pains. But I'm just going to reference one of them in this video, but I highly recommend you checking out that video if you are looking for inspiration about what else to heal inside of you possibly. I'm going to start by asking, so this is just an example of a line of questions about how I can apply this to the self-testing technique. And so you could either write down some of these questions yourself or follow along in the video and test yourself. Maybe you'll test this similar to me. So do I have a fear of relationships? It's a yes. Interesting. Okay. Do I have a fear of friendships? No. Okay. Do I have a fear of romantic relationships? That's a yes. That doesn't actually surprise me too much. If you don't know my story, I am a survivor of 13 years of coercive control. Within that relationship, it was an open dynamic and we dated other people. So I had boyfriends in that dynamic, which were also abusive. So that's my story. I got out and the healing journey almost destroyed me before it got better. That's a little bit about my story, so I'm not surprised by this answer. Do I fear connection? No. Do I fear chemistry? No. I'm just thinking now. I just off the top of my head. Do I fear closeness? No. Okay. So I'm fishing for limiting beliefs. I have a fear of intimacy. Yeah. So this is something that I asked a more pinpointed question. So to kind of dismantle a fear of relationships into like fear of intimacy. Do you have a fear of abandonment if you get close to somebody? So now I'm like asking for something a little bit more pinpointed. So I have a fear of intimacy. I tested yes for that. Also not so super surprised, but this is the interesting part. So you have a fear of intimacy. I have a fear of intimacy. What do I do now? And where is it coming from? So where is it coming from is just as important as what to do with it, how to heal from it. Knowing where it comes from in your line of history is just as important. Is it coming from childhood? Is it coming from a past life? Is it ancestral? Where is it in your body? This can all help you heal this fear of intimacy faster. And you can ask a lot of questions to pinpoint this healing journey. And it really helps you speed up the healing process. Now, something like intimacy, it's not going to heal all by itself, right? Intimacy involves other people, but I can still do some pre-work and inner work and self-work by myself right? Before I get to other situations. And then the real healing will probably happen. So let's check out this fear of intimacy. So a question you might want to ask, am I willing to get over this fear of intimacy? That's a no. No, I am not willing to get over this fear. So now that's something called a blocking belief. I will do more videos on this. That's going to prevent me from healing this. Okay, so you can also ask, do I feel safer with my fear of intimacy? Yes, I do, right? So most things, most limiting beliefs, most past wounds are made because they were to keep us safe, for a form of protection. And this makes it healing very tough, right? So how are you going to convince somebody to take away this shield that they've been carrying that they think is protecting them? And it's harder to do. At least you know now that you have that. I have a fear of intimacy, and I also have a block that I'm not willing to let it go, which makes healing difficult, right? So this is what makes healing difficult, our insider blocks against healing, like a fear of healing in itself, because you think that this thing is protecting you. So that's an interesting thing to ask yourself. Am I willing to let it go? Another interesting question, do I deserve to let go of this fear of intimacy? Yes. Okay. So the deserving wound is something to ask yourself. Do I deserve to let it go? I said, yes, I do deserve it, which is great. And another blocking belief would be if I tested no, I don't deserve to let go of this fear of intimacy. So that could be another blocking thing from healing intimacy. Again, these are all for awareness. If you're testing yourself right now, just write it down. Again, approach it with love and acceptance. This is a part of you that's hurting on the inside, right? Carrying some hidden pain from you. But it would be nice to heal. So again, the universe is responding to this fear of intimacy, not my desire for intimacy in my life. Another thing is you can ask, am I getting more comfortable with intimacy? So that's yes. So that means I'm not a complete lost cause on intimacy, right? So I'm like, I've tested the waters, I'm getting comfortable. It's probably going to tell me that this thing is on the verge of healing. It's sort of already started healing throughout my life, which is great. You could have tested no for that, and that's okay too. So now let's figure out where this fear of intimacy comes from. Just as important as all the other questions. Does this fear of intimacy come from this lifetime? So that's a yes for me. I sort of knew that. Does this fear of intimacy come from my childhood in this lifetime? So it's a no. So the fear of intimacy I have is from my adulthood relationships. If I heal the fear of intimacy from this lifetime, I am just scratching the surface, possibly, of my fear of intimacy. So let's ask, do I have a fear of intimacy from a past life? Yes. Is this fear of intimacy from my past life from adulthood? No. Is this fear of intimacy from that past life a childhood wound? Yes. Is this fear of intimacy ancestral? No. So now I've narrowed in, I have a fear of intimacy from this lifetime, and my past life childhood. So that tells me I have to do some inner child healing that I don't really remember, but I still have to do it. I have no memory of this, but the energy is still inside of me. The universe is still responding to this energy. And another thing I like to ask is, am I carrying this fear of intimacy in my body? Yes, so that's a yes. Do I have this fear of intimacy in a chakra? So that's a yes. So your chakras can actually carry certain programs for certain emotions. I already have a feeling this is in my sacral chakra, is the chakra of intimacy. So do I have a fear of intimacy in my sacral chakra? So yes. Do I have a program of fear of intimacy in my sacral chakra? So that's a yes. So my sacral chakra has been programmed with fear, which means this is a very deeply rooted issue in my chakra system, and that is part of the root of the problem. So if I start to get to the root and really start to get into my sacral chakra to heal it, that means I will resolve this kind of freeze or fear thing that I have around intimacy. If you're wondering how past life energy can get transferred to our current and present reality, I highly recommend reading the book Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It explains a lot about quantum energy and quantum mechanics and how that all works, how past life energy can get inlaid and affect our present reality. So highly recommend the book to explain more about the quantum and also some healing techniques in Becoming Supernatural. An amazing, amazing book, and provides some wonderful explanations about past life energy as well. So I hope this video helped. I encourage you to keep track of your answers, either in a journal, keep track of your answers maybe in an Excel spreadsheet. Try not to judge yourself, just approach these answers with curiosity. The whole point of asking these questions is to bring up your level of consciousness and awareness of some of the deeper things inside of you. You've now figured out something that you have to heal from. I would start researching the topic. So that would be one thing. And when I say research, watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos. Become enlightened about intimacy. Watch some videos of people who have worked their way through, this fear of intimacy or any kind of thing that you tested for. Abandonment, for example. So really start, building up knowledge of yourself, building up knowledge of this fear. So whether reading or watching videos, it also helps to watch people who have overcome it, because that might give you motivation about what it's done for your life. And I would recommend doing some guided meditations as a starting point. And I would also recommend to definitely get a journal, but start writing out, why this might be an issue in your life and how is it affecting your present. So oftentimes if we need convincing to heal. I already know there's huge benefits to healing energetically. If you can remove lower vibrational things from your energy system, you will attract better into your life. Help you dig deeper and really give you some answers about what current challenges you're facing. Remember to ask, does it have roots in your childhood? Does it have roots in your adulthood? Is it related to a certain event? Is it related to ancestral trauma? Is it located in a chakra? So you have your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. If you can figure out where it is in your chakra, it means it's a block in that chakra, and you can remove blocks from chakras. You can do ETF tapping. That does not heal the root problem, although it does integrate triggers and help you heal triggers in your nervous system. If you do tapping with healing the root of the problem, you're golden. You're good. That's healing, baby. So I really hope you enjoyed that video. Again, if you found value in this video, if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be great. And just leave a comment. Did you self-test anything for yourself? Did you follow along in that fear of intimacy? Did you find any curious answers? Are you excited to ask yourself any questions? And ask me below if any questions came up about this technique. So I just want to send you lots of love on your healing journey. I hope this benefited you today. I will be referencing this self-test technique in the future. Bye for now. Lots of love.